March 27th, 1977. A terrorist bombing at Gran Canaria Airport forces international flights to divert to Los Rodeos, a small regional airport on the neighboring island of Tenerife. Los Rodeos is completely unprepared for this sudden influx of heavy commercial traffic. Among the diverted aircraft are two massive Boeing 747 jumbo jets, Pan Am Flight 1736 and KLM Flight 4805. As the afternoon progresses, a dense, heavy blanket of sea fog rolls across the high-altitude runway, reducing visibility to less than 300 feet. The ground radar is non-functional. The controllers cannot see the aircraft. The flight crews cannot see each other. The stage is quietly set for the worst catastrophe in aviation history. By late afternoon, the airport is cleared to reopen. The KLM 747, commanded by veteran Captain Veldhuizen van Zanten, is instructed to taxi down the main runway, perform a 180-degree turn, and hold for takeoff clearance. Minutes later, the Pan Am aircraft is ordered to taxi down the exact same runway, trailing directly behind the KLM flight. They are told to locate taxiway exit number 3, clear the runway, and report when they are off the main strip. But in the blinding fog, the Pan Am crew misses the third exit. They continue taxiing toward the fourth, completely unaware that the KLM jet at the other end of the runway has just completed its turn and is preparing to throttle forward. At the end of the runway, Captain van Zanten is anxious. His crew is pushing against strict Dutch labor laws regarding maximum duty hours, and the fog is worsening. Without waiting for formal air traffic control clearance to take off, he advances the throttles slightly. His co-pilot speaks up, noting that they have not yet received departure authorization. Van Zanten irritably snaps back, telling him to ask the tower. The co-pilot radios control, stating, "We are now at takeoff." The controller, confused by the non-standard phrasing, believes the KLM jet is idling at the line, waiting. He responds, "Okay, Papa Alpha, report when ready for takeoff." To the KLM crew, the word "okay" sounds like a confirmation. Captain van Zanten releases the brakes and slams the throttles fully forward. The massive 400-ton jet begins roaring down the foggy runway, blind to what lies ahead. Hearing this, the panicked Pan Am crew immediately keys their microphone, shouting, "We are still taxiing down the runway." But because the tower controller and the Pan Am crew spoke at the exact same millisecond, their radio signals blocked each other. In the KLM cockpit, instead of hearing that the runway was blocked, they heard only a loud, piercing squeal. The tower controller, completely unaware of the radio interference, simply tells Pan Am, "Report when you are clear." The Pan Am crew replies, "Okay, we'll report when we're clear." This second transmission is perfectly clear. In the KLM cabin, the flight engineer hears it and asks if Pan Am is clear. Van Zanten confidently replies, "Oh yes." He keeps his hands locked on the controls, accelerating his jet to over 160 miles per hour, straight into the path of destruction. At exactly 5:06 p.m., the Pan Am crew suddenly spots the landing lights of the KLM 747 tearing out of the fog. The massive aircraft is hurtling directly toward them at full takeoff speed, less than 9 seconds away. Pan Am Captain Victor Grubbs screams, "There he is! Look at him! God damn, that son of a bitch is coming!" He violently steers the plane toward the grass, slamming the throttles forward in a desperate attempt to clear the runway. In the KLM cockpit, Captain van Zanten finally sees Pan Am. He pulls back on the control column with everything he has, attempting to jump over the obstacle. The tail of his jet strikes the ground, creating a massive trail of sparks scraping along the tarmac. The KLM jet lifts off, but it is too late. Its landing gear and underbelly engines violently strike the top of the Pan Am aircraft, slicing through the upper deck and instantly tearing the fuselage apart. Severely damaged and losing all control, The KLM aircraft stays airborne for only a few hundred feet before slamming back onto the runway, sliding helplessly and exploding into a massive fireball. On the severed Pan Am jet, the impact has completely destroyed the cockpit stairs and fuel lines. Survivors on the lower deck scramble through the smoke and twisted metal, jumping onto the wing to escape before the remaining fuel tanks erupt into the raging inferno. In the control tower, the controllers hear the explosions, but can see absolutely nothing through the blinding mist. They only know something is catastrophically wrong because the radio frequencies have suddenly gone dead, and both massive aircraft have vanished into the smoke. When rescue vehicles finally locate the crash sites through the dense fog, they are stunned by the sheer scale of the destruction. The KLM aircraft is entirely engulfed in an intense, unquenchable fire, preventing anyone from getting close to the wreckage for several hours. The final numbers are staggering. All 248 people on board the KLM flight perish. Of the Pan Am passengers and crew, 335 lose their lives. With a final death toll of 583, it remains the deadliest day in aviation history. Miraculously, 61 people from the Pan Am flight survive, including the captain and co-pilot. They are the only witnesses left to tell investigators how two of the world's largest passenger jets collided on a runway they couldn't even see. International investigators swarm the small airport, pulling the mangled black boxes from the charred remains. What they uncover is not a mechanical failure, but a fatal cocktail of miscommunication, workplace stress, and catastrophic human error. The tragedy permanently changes how the world flies. Aviation authorities completely eliminate ambiguous phrases from radio talk. The word takeoff is now strictly forbidden to be spoken by pilots or controllers unless an explicit emergency or final departure release is declared. More importantly, the disaster births Cockpit Resource Management. Co-pilots and flight engineers are explicitly trained to challenge their superiors, breaking the dangerous culture of never questioning the captain's authority. Today, the Tenerife disaster stands as a stark monument to the power of a single misunderstood word. A tragic reminder that modern aviation safety was not written in ink, but was born out of dense fog, broken radios, and the cost of 583 souls.